Hey, welcome to your day off. My name is Corey Gray, and of course, I'm sitting next to my buddy Tony.
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Nothing, man. I'm pretty excited about today's. I'd say I'm excited every week, right? But truthfully, this time, I'm pretty excited. Actually, when we started to do the podcast, I reached out to these guys and actually asked like technical questions about how they actually did their podcast because they're once again the cat's out of the bag. They have their own podcast.
Right. They were kind enough to help you out.
They were absolutely kind enough to help us out. Well, I don't know. I did it via like DM, so maybe only one of them wanted to help me out. Maybe the other one's like, this guy's a jerk. I'm sure that's the case, right? But anyway, so they're pretty interesting because again, I found out about them via a podcast. But and then once you listen to the podcast, you realize that they actually have a salon consulting business, and we actually have a friend that went through it who gave rave reviews about it. So I mean, I think with no further ado, shall we introduce them?
Yeah.
Shall we do it? Let's do it. Cool. So David and Cyd, welcome to your day off.
Thank you very much.
Hi guys.
It's not really our day off, so it's kind of
Your last day off. I don't remember when mine was.
There are no days off in the podcast world.
It's just those who are listening, right?
Hopefully that's it.
Yeah.
So let's jump in. You want to jump in?
Yeah.
Let's jump in.
So we're gonna, we want to know where you guys, where are you from? And we'll start with you, Cyd, because we got a second part to that question with you, David.
Oh, fun. I'm actually from the South. I grew up in Florida, even though people don't think that is the South, but I spent my adult years in Tampa, Florida, but I grew up about an hour south in a little small town called Ruskin, and I grew up on a farm.
Oh, wow.
Dairy farm.
Dairy farms in Florida? I thought they only grew oranges.
I know, right? Nope, it was a dairy farm.
I grew up on a farm
As
as well.
did David, so it must be a thing.
Right, yeah.
We're so sick of farm life that we just go straight
to the city.
Straight to here. David, where'd you grow up?
I spent my younger years in northern Michigan, Harbor Springs, Petoskey, Michigan. And my mom lived in the city, my dad lived in the country. And so my dad is one of 8, and he grew up on a dairy farm. So that's the dairy farm side of my family. And then my mother moved me to Naples, Florida when I was 16.
Oh, so you're Florida as well then, huh?
Yep. And so I was there for 6 years, and that's actually how I met Cyd.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So you got the Florida and the dairy farm connection.
Yeah.
Because we are the weirdos. We should do something with this.
So did you grow up as David in Michigan?
No, I grew up as Caleb in Michigan.
Yeah. What's that journey?
Caleb lived on the farm. David lives in New York.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
there
I
you
like
go.
that.
Yeah, we were so we were talking to Cyd last week, and we loved the spiritual story of how you turned into Caleb into David. So we wanted to, before we get into all the other stuff, really kind of talk to us about your journey.
So I ran away when I was 16. I kind of ran away from home, and I've always been a very spiritual. I'm Pisces. We believe in a lot of astrology in this group. So Pisces are normally one of the most spiritual signs, and it proves very true for myself. So when I was 16, I studied all these different religions, and I found the Kabbalah Center when I was really young, and I kind of ran away to the Kabbalah Center. And that's how I grew up, was studying this kind of ancient wisdom. I believe that it's shaped the company that we have. It's shaped all the choices that I've made, and it's made me a more proactive person in life. So I think it's only fitting that we have a coaching consulting company for hairdressers because of that. But in that study, you have the opportunity to change your name if you feel inclined. And I was in Israel with my Kabbalah teacher, and I'd wanted to change my name for many years because of its spiritual significance to do so. And my teacher, when we were in Israel in this January, she mentioned changing my name. So I not only did I change it, but I was able to change it in Israel, which was, I think, really, really intense.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
King David. I like it.
King David. Yeah. I have that place where I used to date this guy named Byron. He's going to kill me. His name was Byron, but his Instagram handle was Byron, like the Lord, like Lord Byron. And so when I changed my name, I said it's King David, like the king.
That's awesome.
That's great. My brother's named David, so
yeah. No, it's a good name. My cousin Sheena, she's from Ireland. She actually named me Caleb when I was born. And my name was
that's
a big
cool name too.
Yeah, exactly. My name was a problem when I was born because I was supposed to be a girl. And my mom thought I was a girl. The doctors thought I was a girl. The X-rays, the X-rays, the
sonogram
sounds showed that I was a girl. And I came out with boy parts, so I'm a boy. And my mom didn't know what to name me. So even my original name was a struggle. So I stayed in the hospital for 3 extra days until my cousin named me. And so my name has always been kind of a unique thing.
Have you talked to her since you did the name change?
I just talked to her a couple days ago, and I forgot that I didn't tell her, and she almost hung up the phone on me. She was calling long distance, so I was like, couldn't hear her very well, and I was like, oh, I forgot to tell you that I changed my name. And she's like, I gave you a beautiful name. She was upset, but she said, I just have to get used to it. She was the only person that was, kind of upset by it. But
what's great about that whole story is that when David and I first met and we were getting to know each other, we both grew up on the farm, and then I was actually supposed to be a boy throughout. My mom thought I was going to be a boy and he was going to be a girl, and then we both grew up gay. So I don't know what happened along the lines, but apparently I was a boy.
I think it's our parents' fault.
I do too. Yeah. So
I thought environmental wasn't a factor.
I was supposed to be named Mac. My mom was naming me Mac.
And I was supposed to be Kara.
Kara.
If it came out another way, you'd be interviewing Mac and Kara right now.
How weird.
two straight farmers in New York.
Yes. They sound like they're from California, though. I don't know. Mac and Kara.
Mac and Kara.
Yeah.
They sound a little hippie.
You sound like friends of Barbie.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my my name journey.
That's pretty awesome, man. Well, first of all, congratulations
Thank you.
on your journey and for always seeking further knowledge and
spiritual guidance. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's I thought it was going to be a lot harder to share it with people because people have opinions, but everyone really respected it, and it hasn't really been that weird of a. It was actually harder for me.
I know. I was like, David, can you hand me that? And he wasn't responding, and I was like, he's like, oh.
David, you got to buy into the name if you're going to.
I know. I went to Starbucks and they kept calling David, and I was like, oh, that's me.
They're still talking about you at Starbucks. Right. Remember that weird dude David that came in would never pick up the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because we first knew you as Caleb, and Corey and I, as we were talking, and I keep saying Caleb, he's like David.
I know, yeah.
No, but I said he became significant to me as Caleb, and then he started talking, and then sure enough, he did the exact same thing. It was like it's got a kick out of it. But
it does. If you want to call to anyone listening, if you want to call me Caleb or David, it's not.
No. You need to commit, David. Your branding's going to be tough enough, man.
We'll respond to both and correct you. So.
But if you bring him a coffee, make sure it says Caleb.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
So you guys met down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys work in the same salon, or did you guys were you both doing hair? Or
we actually were both educators for Aveda, and we used to teach for the institutes and travel with them and teach for them. And I remember the first day David walked in. He walked in and he was we were babies. I mean, he was probably 22 at the time and I was maybe 25. And he walked in and he smelled of Abercrombie. And I remember being like, you smell like my wife. Like that was my first words out of my mouth to him. And what's funny
and we didn't talk for like a year.
No, we didn't. I mean, we worked together. We worked opposite. We had our classes were on opposite times and we weren't not friends, but we weren't friends. And, one time it was his birthday and he had no one going out with him and I could not handle that. I was like, birthdays are so important to me. And so I took him out for his birthday and it was like insta friends. And we ended up starting to do more editorial stuff together and doing more shows and runway stuff and stuff for the company. And we were like, we work really well together, and we had all these great ideas. We actually had too many ideas. We had such an opinion. We started a blog on Tumblr called The Dispensary. And we basically just started ranting and raving about Big Brother in the industry and the big companies, and how we want to bring power back to the artist. And we actually got in trouble for it. And people were like, you can't write about that.
You got in trouble from Aveda from that? Is that who you were working for at the time?
Yeah, we got in trouble for writing things about bigger companies and brands, and basically, but other people liked it. The hairstylists, the artists loved it. And so we decided to make it more official, and we created a company called the Trichology Project. And we still didn't know what we wanted to do. We just started writing a blog. We had people come on board wanting to be interviewed by us, wanting to write for us. And it just kind of started to take off very quickly. But no one could say the Trichology Project. So during that time, or spell it, during the time, David wrote an article about destroying the hairdresser and destroying the stereotypes that come with it, and destroying ego and low paychecks, and just kind of building the artist back up. And we kind of took off with that. And it's funny because we were on tour. We just finished a 15-stop North American tour, and which sounds crazy to me. But we were talking on stage, and I randomly splurted out that we created this company on a napkin in a coffee shop in Florida. And someone asked, do you still have the napkin? I was like, no, but
that would have been your dollar bill. You would have framed it and have it on your wall, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, but we forgot about that. And, it's been about 3.5, 4 years now. And we created this amazing coaching company to help, build back the artist and make them the money that they deserve and have the confidence. And, we're also both certified life coaches. And so we incorporate that into our business. And, we grew very quickly on Instagram. We've built our whole business on Instagram, and we started the podcast, and that took off. And next thing you know, we were on tour, and I feel like I blinked and woke up, and it's all been happening. So that's why we look so tired.
It's funny because you guys were ahead, like in the beginning as well. There's, this whole movement of the independent hairdresser, or the, the hairdresser itself, and not, being not necessarily owned, because I'm not knocking anybody, because I worked in the salon for 20 years, and we loved where we worked, but we're in a private studio. But this whole, about 4 or 5 years ago, I guess 6 years ago, this big strong movement, and you guys were kind of at the beginning of that. That's pretty impressive.
I think I teach so Cyd coaches people that are behind the chair, that are working either for someone else or even independently. And I work with mainly leadership. And what I've discovered in leadership is that the only way it's going to work to employ hairdressers anymore is they can still be employees, they can still be W-2 employees, but you have to treat them like 1099 employees. This is the only way it will. The next generation, the next generation coming in they will not listen to your rules, because their rules. The rules kind of keep them behind, and they live in a world where all the rules are broken and all the bets are off and all the marketing is different, and how you build your business is up to every independent person. So I've just noticed that a lot of hairdressers that I work with that are leaders or salon owners struggle with this in particular, especially if they've been in the industry for a long time. Also, we found that where there was a lack in leadership is that they were holding onto their stylist with such fear that it was actually making their stylist leave. And something David does with his leadership is actually gives them a place, encourages them that if they're done and they've hit their top, to let them go and or invest in them into the company, so that they are now investors within your business, or opening a second location or something like that, to give the next step to the stylist versus having it be this whole knockout, drag out, walkout situation.
Right. Nobody wants that. Do you guys kind of see, Tony and I we've talked about this, for years now. We're trying to figure out where's the middle ground between like a commission salon and, now the studio salons. Do you guys see middle ground there, or?
I don't think there's middle ground. I think every person that decides to be a leader of a business has to decide what that looks like for their life. So if you're going to open a salon, You need to decide what those rules and those boundaries look like for you so you can have the life that you want. And then you invite people to be part of that. But if you're just opening and then hiring people because that's how business works, it will fail.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well said, man.
I know.
That's amazing. So you guys sitting around a coffee table, writing on a napkin, talking about, hey, we should, create this business. Now you guys on this 15 city tour. From the time you were on the was writing on the napkin, creating this business till today, how long did it take you to develop to destroy the hairdresser?
Like the curriculum?
We launched the curriculum probably a month and a half after that napkin, because David and I believe that why wait? Life's too short. Let's just jump, see what works, what doesn't.
Wow.
We've changed our curriculum a few times based on what's happening in the industry. And there's always fear when you put yourself out like that. And we were just like, we're going to do this and we're going to try it. And lo and behold, we had like 5 people sign up that first month, which is also terrifying.
Yeah, no.
But those were, they all grew. They finished our year-long program and are all very successful now. And they still use the tools and still promote us, and they still are very active in our community, and they're our alumni team. We've had a lot of people go through the program, and it's been great. Some of them are done with the program and they're like, well, can we just keep you still? And we're like, yeah, okay. Some of them are on year 3, for no reason. It's just great. It's wonderful.
I think that everyone kept saying, you need to do, test your curriculum out and try it and try it and try it. And I was like, no, I don't. I need to test it on people that are willing to pay me.
Right.
If it works, because they're going to pay me what this curriculum is worth. And then as it keeps developing, we charge more. So I think that the people that signed up in the beginning we made it clear to them that the curriculum was new, and that we would be trying a lot of new ideas. But the people that signed up wanted something new, and they wanted something radical, and they were like, nothing else is working. If someone gives me another spreadsheet on how to add up numbers,
I can't. We don't talk numbers.
In our whole program, we don't mention numbers one time.
Wow.
We don't believe that people learn how to make money by learning how to add, because we've already done that in middle school. We know that 2 + 2 = 4. We don't have to take this class and that class with this spreadsheet and that. We don't have to do that. It doesn't make any sense.
Also, the result of our program is always money.
Always.
I've had students where we work on just their confidence. We work on building their brand, and next thing you know, they're doubling their paychecks without even talking about dollars. And so it's how you do one thing is how you do all things. So if we can work in one area of your life, the other area is gonna elevate. And both of us being Kabbalah students, we have spiritual mentors, and we have business mentors, and we also have life coaches. And we wouldn't be anywhere in our careers without those people. And so we realized that was the one thing in this industry that was missing, was the individual support for us, because you go through hair school and nobody teaches you business and no one supports you through it. And you kind of just feel like a pawn in this game. And a lot of people end up quitting their craft and go into nursing. I don't know why that's a thing.
There's a relation between
and yeah, it's weird. And that's heartbreaking, because they always say, I always hear, I miss hair. My mom was a hairstylist for 30 years. At the end of her 30 years, she had not a dollar to save or show from her 30 years in her career. She had to get knee replacements, carpal tunnel. And so when I said I wanted to do hair, she looked at me like, I dropped out of nursing school to be a hairdresser. So that's, I did it backwards. But she looked at me like I was insane, because the way that the industry was for her, she just didn't think I could make money being a hairstylist. And I was like, nope, you're wrong. This is it. I swear to you, I can change this. I can be influential. So
that's awesome. And what's impressive is that, even when somebody takes your course and at the end of it, you know what I mean? This is where what Corey and I we love about doing our podcast and bringing people like you on, is that you guys truly care about them. You know what I mean? A lot of people say, thank you for the money, see you later. But you allow them to still reach out to you, and you become those leaders in their lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're mentors. They look up to you, and it's awesome that you guys keep that channel open to them, and that's where you truly care about them, and you care about our industry, and that's what one of the big reasons why we want to have you guys on, and just mad respect that you guys just you care about the industry and about the
Yeah.
hairdresser, the individual hairdresser.
I think that I think our whole business was built on relationships, which is, I mean, we're creative people. We
Right.
crave relationships. And so we just kind of played on that idea. And then also going forward, taking those students that have had great success and have really kind of bought into what we're doing and having them become coaches is kind of the next expansion of our company that we're working on now.
That's coming later this year. So we'll get to see our babies and watch them go out and do what we've done, which is wonderful because we really learned a lot from this tour. And as much as we started this company to be an online only company that we would never go out and teach classes, we realized, especially after doing the podcast, that a lot of people want to talk to us face to face, and we have to connect with them that way. And in order to have more time to do that, we have to have more coaches to be able to help us with the quantity of students that are coming in.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, I'm a believer already. We're
basically starting a cult. So if you'd like to be a part of DTH, you can.
I love it. So
we'll help with the media side of it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So the name came from David's article, Destroy the Hairdresser.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. David,
it's great for marketing. It gets attention. People email us probably a couple times a week asking us why we hate hairdressers, why we want to kill them. And what's frustrating to me is it's like, do you not read? Don't try to elevate you. And if you would just look at the website, you would see that.
That's pretty awesome. Actually, David, I was listening to a podcast, and we can make an edit mark here if you don't want to get into it. But you mentioned something that it totally piqued me, and I was like, if I ever get a chance to talk to them, I'm going to ask them about this. You mentioned something about how the retail business has changed, and you said, I think you were being coy, but you kind of said that, and then you shut up. But I was like, I want more, David.
Wait, what did I say?
I don't know what I said 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, you have to tell me what I said.
It was something about that, about how the retail business in our industry has changed, and how that salons can't rely on that anymore as the be all.
This is part of Big Brother. This is part of Big
Brand. This is probably the most controversial thing that I say, because
that's why I asked.
Because by saying this, I will never ever be sponsored in my life by a big brand. If I ever want, even if the money was enough, they're never going to come to me now. I believe that I don't believe that salons really truly make money on selling product. If you look at, if we're doing basic math, if you buy a product for $2, you sell it for $4, you made $2, but you have to buy that product again for $2.
Right.
So I know there are some margins that can be moved around where you could make a little bit of money, but we do hair. Right. And I know that you need product to support that hair, but you don't need a whole storefront of product to support that hair. And so I really support smaller brands like Hair Story, Reverie, smaller things that they have really niche products, because they've really focused. I love Hair Story because they're like, you only need these 4 products for every hair type. And I think that that's kind of the future of product. And honestly, Generation Z, the 22 and younger, they aren't going to buy product at a salon. They've already bought their product on Amazon.
Right. Do you think that on that same note, and Tony and I have talked about this a little bit, do you see a resurgence of what's it called? Like Selfbrands, like
smaller, like boutique brands?
Like boutique brands, or, even where an individual hairdresser, or a salon would bring in like their own named.
Yeah.
What's that called? Why am I brain farting?
It's called like the blank label products, like those, the white label products are.
Yeah. The ones where you put your own name on it. It's like Coca.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The only difference is that you can go online to these companies. I can't remember the name of it, but you can go online, you give them your logo, you pick what kind of products you want, and you don't really have any say in how it's made, what's going in it, how it's formulated, versus a lot of the smaller brands right now really care about that. And so they're working in the labs to build the kind of products that they want and put them out. Because I do know a lot of salons that make their own brand of product because they don't want to deal with the big brands that are making them sell a certain amount, and they're being tough on their stylists to really push them that. And then everything seems very selly and numbers oriented, very rather than artistic. I have no problem selling product at all because I'm educating my clients in the right direction. But I also don't want to be pushed or reprimanded if my client didn't take it home.
Well, right.
I think that, like, for example, I get what you're saying. If I were to create a product myself, I would create one product. I love like salty textured paste or spray. Like I love, like, that's the kind of hair I like. So as a stylist, if I had the opportunity to make a product, that would be the type of product I made. I wouldn't make a whole line, but I would make
one product. Like,
I'd make what I want to work with.
Right. So you would go with like a shampoo and conditioner from whomever, and then have the one, Caleb used to be, or David used to be Caleb's product.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I think mixing and matching and carrying what you want is going to be what happens. And I think that's why people want to open their own little studios, so they don't have to be in bed with these bigger companies that are like, okay, well, you have to carry $40,000 with our product, and then we'll give you $1,000 of education. And if you hit this, no one's playing this game anymore.
Right.
Like no one's, especially younger people. They're just, millennials do not do this. If millennials go to buy a car, I always use this example. When a millennial goes to buy a car, they came with the $30,000 which is the asking price. They didn't come with 25 ready to haggle. They literally were like, I have $30,000. I want the car now, and I want to leave right now.
Right.
Like that's how millennials think. They don't want a deal. They don't need a discount. They don't need that. They already know what they want. And the next generation after that really knows what they want.
Yeah. Right. And there's too many product brands out there that you have to carry the whole line, or you can't carry the line at all. So.
Exactly.
Right.
Also, if you've ever done a show or a competition or something like that, like product, I hate to say that. I love all these different brands, but I've been on Fashion Week, or I've been on set where I've been forced to use something that was provided for maybe a commercial, or we used to work for HSN, so we would always have to use what was being sold. And we're just told to make it work. And we do, and
because we know what we're doing.
Exactly. And can you imagine being like, I can't make it work. I can't give you the hair you want because I'm not using the product that I want. It just doesn't make sense to me. So it's just like, why simplify things I always try to simplify things for my clients, because it's like, all you need is this one thing. You put it in wet, you use it dry, and walk out the door. Because honestly, living in New York, that's what I do. I use one product, call it a day, air dry, bye. And everybody compliments my hair. They're like, I love your curls. And I'm like, thanks. Like, this is it.
Awesome. So let's get back to Destroy the Hairdresser. Let's
do it.
So,
I mean, we have him here.
That was actually 100% Destroy the
That
Hairdresser.
was all. This is why people don't like us but love us. It's
right. So, like Corey said earlier, we do know someone who has been a part of it, and they loved it. They just raved about it. And
were they a part of our tour, or are they a student?
I'm not sure what they were definitely took a class through the tour.
Okay.
Yes. So I mean, let's get into that real quick. I mean, what's the difference between a student and like when you went on tour?
So the tour was basically, we incorporated a lot of tools from our curriculum into the tour, but we only had 6 hours. So we're trying to just make them aware of what they want in life, gain consciousness. We really focus on changing the way they thought about their business. And then that was the first 2 hours. And then the last part of the class, I took all the hairdressers, and David took all the leadership, and we did breakout sessions. So I taught them how to brand themselves and how to elevate their social media. And
I spent most of my time explaining why everything that's happening in their business is caused by them, right?
Their fault.
Leadership, right? Basically their fault.
Right.
I think I spent a lot of my time with leadership, teaching them personal responsibility more than anything. And so the idea of those classes were to plant a seed to have them continue working with us, which a lot of them are working with us privately now. And private sessions are one-on-one. It's a 6-month program, and we take them through a curriculum that's a little more customized to them. So they have a lot of the verbiage down, they have a lot of the consciousness down, but they have to, when they work with us, it's real work. I think our coaching is pretty intense.
We speak with them every 2 weeks and for 30 minutes, and we have a curriculum online that they do and check in. We have an online community, so when they're not talking to us, they're talking to other students. We do conference calls once a month with our students, so everybody can be on the conference calls and kind of get some really cool business consciousness. And then they pretty much have access to us in their pocket via text and email 24/7. I mean, I have students that I talk to via text every day. Sometimes my students just want to say hi. Hey, how you do? Hi, I miss you.
We really become integral and part of not just their business, but their life. And that's really what we're trying to do to begin with.
That's beautiful. Being on your website, I noticed there's 2 curriculums people can choose from.
Yes.
Hair Babe and Hair Boss.
Yeah. So I teach the Hair Boss curriculum, which is for leadership, and Cyd teaches the Hair Babes curriculum, which is for people behind the chair.
That's pretty cool. I mean, when we first started this conversation, you mentioned that, your whole business was set on communication and relationships. And I mean, that's clearly more than just words from you guys. I mean, that's clearly you guys are living it.
Yeah, we're very big, when you were talking about money and stuff, if it's not working for you, it's not working for us. And if, sometimes there's a lot of blockages in people's lives and they're not ready to do a program as in-depth as ours is, because we really open your closet and pull all the junk out and then put it back together. And so we've actually had students say we've said to them, this isn't working for you and it's not working for us. And we've let them go, because I'm not going to waste your money anymore. When you're ready to do this program and you're ready to do the work, then you come back, and that's it. We've actually had to fire students.
I think we actually fire a lot of people.
Yeah, that's real. Wow. That's honest.
Because it doesn't make a good relationship, and what it does create is desire to be back in it to change their lives, and so it's become a beautiful thing.
Wow.
Yeah, that is beautiful, because a lot of people just say, you know what, give me the money, and you succeed. If not, you don't.
It's on you. That's right.
But that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
I know. I'm pretty blown away by it.
It's a lot of work. It's very emotional. But like Cyd said, we have our own coaches in a sense. So I don't think that you should ever listen to people unless they're listening to someone else. Mm-hmm. So I think the reason our program works is because we have someone working on us individually. And so when we go and give someone advice, or we tell someone to do something that might be a little bit crazy, it's because we've done it and we have someone pushing us to do things as well. So
we've experienced it. We use this, I always tell my students, I'm doing the work with you. And we try to do the same work that, if I'm talking to a student about budgeting their finances, I'm like, okay, well, I should take a look at mine too. It's like we try to live through what we're coaching.
All right. You walk the walk.
Otherwise, it's full of shit.
Yeah.
Like everybody else.
That's why we're so tired. I can't explain that enough.
That's awesome. So do you guys work behind the chair anymore, or are you guys just doing the coaching thing?
We do, actually. I do color and David does cutting.
That's like us.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I decided I don't want to do what I don't want to do anymore. And so I only color hair. I charge an hourly rate. I come in and I get paid for the time that I do work, and I don't double book anymore. And it's a glorious thing. And I get to be with my clients. I do a lot of transformational color. Uh-huh. So they'll be in my chair sometimes 6 to 8 hours, and I'm getting paid for every hour that I'm there. And they have my time. It's not one of those pass off to the assistant kind of things. And then that's it. I've built my whole entire book off of Instagram, and it's been incredible.
I do not enjoy doing color. Mm-mm. I do not enjoy that process. I do not like waiting. I like instant gratification as much as I can get it without it being unhealthy. So I do. I work at White Room in Brooklyn, and I work only 1 day a week. And sometimes I don't even work that day. Because
yeah.
Going back to the beginning when we were talking about, is there a balance between 1099 and W-2 or employee versus independent? And I think that we try to teach hair. I know that behind the chair, at least, we try to teach hairdressers. Business is about making offers, right? No, just because something's been done a certain way does not mean that's how it's done. Right. It just means that no one's made an offer that's unique. And so whenever I go into a salon and I want to work there, I'm like, this is my life. This is what I can offer you. I can't give you anything else. There's no negotiating. There's nothing else I can do for you. This is what I can do. And I want to be on your payroll. I don't want to be that independent. So I'm an employee, but I'm not really an employee. I don't have to come in. I don't have to be there at a certain time. I don't have to do any of that, but I am an employee.
David's like the guest star.
Yeah.
Right.
I when we first moved to New York, we worked in a little studio that we had for a little bit, and it was just, as our company kept growing, it just didn't work out. We didn't want that responsibility anymore. And so I wanted to work for someone else that could deal with all that payroll. I did not mind commission, and I did a lot of research on where I wanted to work, and I started working for a salon called Hair & Co. Brooklyn. And even though we live in Manhattan, it's really cool to visit Brooklyn 3 times a week. But I interviewed them, and I tell my students to do that. This is what I'm good at. This is my Instagram. This is this. There was no resume. It was like, this is my Instagram. This is what I can do. This is what I can provide you. When I'm here, I'm working. When I'm not, I'm with students, and that's it. And also, we both do a lot of freelance. We do a lot of work on set, magazines. I do Fashion Week a lot. And so sometimes I'm going to have to move my books or call, or I get a job last minute, or things like that happen. And they've been so incredibly awesome about that. So
That's pretty great.
Yeah. That with you guys, that probably that few days that you're there, you probably bring so much to the environment around there that it's worth, I guess, the owner or the manager to.
I think
deal.
I think people like that it's different.
Mm-hmm.
People like different. People don't like things that are the same. They're bored. And so I think that having someone come in, I don't feel like when I don't feel like a special guest. I feel like I'm in the way.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hi, can I use this chair? I don't know the rules. And so it doesn't actually feel that way for me, but I know that for them, they like to talk about like, oh, so-and-so, we have someone that comes in once a week. He travels, he does this. Like it adds to their story too. It's not just our story.
Yeah, because when I was a young hairdresser, we had a guy that did that. He would come in once a month just for a weekend, like Friday and Saturday. Mm-hmm. And it was this kind of a mysterious hairdresser. He would come in and would be booked solid, and he'll spend his 2 days, and off he goes into the sunset for another month.
Exactly. That's pretty crazy. Hey, do you guys want to you guys kind of want to briefly go over like what the Hair Babes program is and the Hair Boss programs?
Yeah.
Just like an overview real quick.
Yeah. The Hair Babes during phase 1, so we have 2 phases, both are 6 months. During phase 1, we really dive into figuring out something that we've called the opponent, which is basically your blockages in your life and what's stopping you. We discover how they want to feel, which we've talked a lot about on our podcast, because we believe that your goal should be a feeling, not an afterthought. And so figuring out how to get them closer to achieving their desired feeling versus a bunch of New Year's resolutions that they're never going to accomplish.
Right.
Then we go into action planning, which is actually breaking those down and how they can start achieving their big clarified goals on a daily basis. We talk a little bit about creating a better idea around wealth and expanding their mindset and getting out of poverty consciousness, which will in turn
hold on, Sid. How do you define poverty?
Thinking like a poor person, thinking with lack.
Thinking with what?
Thinking that you don't. This is what we hear from people all the time. I just want to make enough. Right. I just want to get that $3,000 to pay off my bills. Right. I just want to have enough to put food on my plate. I just want to, have enough to pay my bills. And it's just, that's not enough. That's actually too little. And so we break them out of that mindset of like, I just want to make enough, because then that's all you'll ever make is enough, which is basically nothing. Enough is never enough, if you've noticed,
That's the hardest part of our coaching, I think, is getting people out of that, that consciousness.
And then I dive in with them on their social media and branding. And if they go on to phase 2, we go in a little deeper of cleaning out that closet and realizing how we can elevate them, and the difference between elevation and motivation. We figure out where their ego is sitting, how we can break their ego a little bit. We teach them what true desire is and how to share within their network or their.
You think adults would know how to share, but they do not.
They don't.
Mine.
If you've ever worked in a salon, you know that's here's my blow dryer, man.
It's
my client. It's my client.
It's beyond that. It's insane. And once we get them to a place of making the kind of money that we want, then we encourage them to find a way to start donating some of it as well and to be charitable. And then, I wait to the second phase to teach them organization, because they can't grasp it when they're thinking so small in the beginning. But then we organize their life, and then usually it's like, what's the next step? We go through the same curriculum again, but at a different elevated view of it, and push them to their next level. So that's why we said, even though our curriculum is technically 2 phases of 6 months, we've had people go on to year 3 doing the same curriculum, because there's always something new to work on. And David and myself do this all the time. I'm like, okay, I got to start over this program with me, because I have to work on my own stuff as well. So it's great.
So is each phase 6 months, or is it is?
Yeah, each phase is 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It used to be a year, but people have commitment issues. So cut it in half.
Yeah. I'm like, do you want to go on to phase 2 or not? And usually the answer is like, well, yeah.
What to do?
Who wouldn't?
Who
You know what I
wouldn't
mean? It's like just going through phase 1, just reading it. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm already motivated and excited. So it'd be a no-brainer to take phase 2, right?
Yeah. I think, and then with Hair Boss, we go over some similar things like the opponent and the idea of the ego. But like I said earlier, we really help them understand the number one thing that humans have a hard time with, especially leaders, is personal responsibility. And realizing that if my business is failing, it's not because I hired the wrong person, it's because I don't know what I'm doing. And
like a poor man's mentality too, right? It's always somebody else's fault. It's not my fault. It's your fault. You know?
Yeah, it's like a victim consciousness.
Oh, I love victim consciousness and ripping that apart.
And people are really addicted to thinking that way. So the whole idea of Hair Boss and Hair Babes is to change the individual from the inside, and then the outside reflects the rest of it. But I think so many people the success we have is when the individual changes how they think and what the actions they take. And a lot of curriculums out there, a lot of coaching programs try to get the people to do new things or different things, but they're not going to do them if they are thinking the same way as when they started, right?
Right.
To get someone to make more money, but I discover this all the time, that people, when you discover what people believe about money, a lot of them believe that money is bad. So how are they going to make more if their belief around money is that money is evil, money is the root of all evil? I hear that all the time. It's like, well, of course you're not going to want to make it because it's evil.
Yeah.
So we help them, and a lot of times they don't even know they believe that.
Very true, right?
Like,
The more you have to listen to what you're saying, and I think people don't realize what you're saying. Even like when you joke about your self-worth, sometimes where you wake up hungover and you're like, I'm a garbage person. It's your inside still hear that. And I know it sounds very guru, but like you have to remember that. So sometimes I try to change my consciousness when I feel like crap and I'm like crawling across the floor. I'm like, I am beautiful. I am healthy, because I don't want to invite that negativity in my life.
I'm a beautiful garbage can.
Yes.
That's pretty incredible.
But yeah, if anyone ever wants to discover what our curriculum is about, we offer a free conversation on our website. So they can just go there, they can look at the curriculum, and they can request to talk to one of us.
destroythehairdresser.com.
Yep, destroythehairdresser.com. And there's little links everywhere that say book a complimentary conversation. And because it's coaching, so you have to talk with people and tell them what it's about, or they won't. People don't just sign up for things like this. They really want to ask questions and feel comfortable. So.
Right. Okay. My favorite question of the entire thing. Are you guys ready? And no copping out. Okay. That's the rule. No. And if you cop out, I'm going to call you on your bullshit. We're going to start over. Deal? David and Cyd, what, individually, what are you guys completely obsessed with now? And what I mean by copping out is you can't say like world peace. You can't say that. Like, what are you obsessed with? Is there a makeup? Is there a
Are
drink?
we talking about the industry or just like life in general?
No. This is about
Life.
you.
Okay, I think a few things. I think first we are very old souls, and we're really into the 70s right now. But I grew up on very Southern rock, and so I've been diving back into that lately.
Love it.
We're very inspired by music a lot.
Give me a playlist song.
Something like CCR. My mom was obsessed with Fleetwood Mac, so I've been on like a Fleetwood Mac trip lately. But it's been.
And I like anything Mamas and Papas.
Yeah.
I love some good ABBA, bringing it back. I like Simon and Garfunkel, so I'm kind of obsessed with the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I also am obsessed with 70s hair.
Yes.
So
I think that's what we were thinking. We're like, when we think of hair.
I think I'm reincarnated from the 70s.
For sure. I think so too. We shag everything out. Everything we style is very 70s inspired. We're very drawn to those colors. Yeah, I think it's just, I'm really obsessed with my Alexa right now.
Ditto. You know what I just learned today? Is how to do whole home music. So like I have 4 Alexas, so all of them play the same exact music.
Oh, you know what? I felt bad today because my Alexa went offline and I had to ask Siri something and I felt like I was cheating. And I was like, oh, Alexa's gonna know. It's so bad.
One day Cyd was gone and she was like out of town and I was trying to hook my phone up to her Alexa, but it tells Cyd what I was saying to it.
Because it asks for, on the app, it asks you to like, did this work?
Yeah.
And I was like, Alexa, connect to my phone. And I'm like, connect my fucking phone, Alexa. It's like, I get all the texts of what you're saying, Jen.
I'm at the airport and I'm reading my Alexa app and I'm just giggling. And I'm like, you do know that's not how you speak to her. Right?
Oh my God. That's hilarious. No wonder she wouldn't work. Her feelings were hurt, Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
What are we obsessed with lately? I don't know. I feel like I changed things so drastically.
I think it's a hairdresser mentality, right?
Yeah, I think it's just being an artist. I see something and I run with it. But that's, I think, just experiences I've been chasing a lot more. I've been I said I wasn't going to travel after the tour, and then I haven't been home since.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like that. I feel like 2018 was about becoming obsessed with travel, and now I'm over it, but we're still traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Still traveling.
Just experiencing.
Like I went to Israel in the middle of this tour. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot, but it sparked that. Now I don't know. I'd never flown overseas before.
Uh-huh.
So it was now I have kind of a travel obsession.
Yeah. I'm in my 30s now, early 30s, 31. Don't age me. And I'm really loving 30. Like
you're obsessed with 30.
I really am obsessed with 30. Like, you're still young enough to like play and party, but like you're old enough to have your shit together. And so it's a really nice balance in life. Like, 40 is when you're like too adult and like you have kids, and I'm just really enjoying like living.
Thanks.
Yeah, she just killed us, didn't she?
But I look 40s and 30, guys. Live it up.
Oh, yeah, listen, now she's
You're still
backtracking.
living like
Right.
you just children now. Like, that's
I told you I was going to call you on your bullshit, Cyd. Your bullshit, man.
I'm just digging.
I
If
can
you
tell
can
you what
hand me that shovel, I'll just continue to dig.
Hey, what's the rule? If you're in a hole, stop digging.
I can tell you what I'm not obsessed with.
Tell
I'm
us.
not obsessed with the fact that it's still winter and spring.
Oh my goodness. It was snowing here today.
I know. We've had if I hear the word nor'easter, which I'm pretty sure is just made up now.
Yeah.
Like anytime it snows, they're like, it's the nor'easter. I'm like, it's snow.
It reminded me of when you first heard about El Nino.
Yeah, totally.
Everything was El Nino.
Yeah,
for
after
like
that.
5 years.
I was just like, where did that even come from? Who made that up?
That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Hey guys, this has been a blast. Tons of fun, tons of information. I certainly want to thank you guys. So we'll make it official. And Cyd and David from Destroy the Hairdresser, thank you very, very much for joining us on your day off.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please do me you.
Hey, so there it is. Hey, this is a message that we've been trying to bring, I don't know, for the last couple months, actually since we started the podcast. Hey, so if you like the podcast or if you find that it's useful, please leave us a review, a 5-star review on iTunes. Leave us a rating and a review.
But if you don't like it, forget about it.
Yeah, totally forget about this message. We also want to thank Sarah and Blaine from Pretty Gritty. Sarah and Blaine, they are a band out of Portland, Oregon, and we just want to thank them very much for allowing us to use their song "Pleased to Meet You" on our podcast. That's cool. I think you can find their music on iTunes.
Peace and hair grease.